This is a Mr. G production. Hey everybody, this is level 2. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit there, okay? This is level 2 video that on paper sculptures, and as I mentioned in level 1, we're not using the traditional tapes and glues and all that other stuff that we would use typically in the classroom. We're going to try using that, using slots and notches to keep our things together, like I mentioned, but now we're going to add a little bit of extra stuff. And I mentioned that I wanted to show you this one first. Very basic design in what it is. It's just a few shapes here. In order for me to be happy with this, I said, you know, I want to make it look like a castle. I want to do something more than just stack some paper up. So I'm just going to dismantle this real quickly and show you. There's only 3 shapes: a rectangle, a longer rectangle, a door, which is probably another rectangle, and a triangle. And all I did was take the paper after I knew what I wanted to do, and I drew the pattern on there of the bricks, and then I assembled it. Let me quickly put it together again, then I'll show you how I drew the bricks, and then this way if you want to draw bricks, you'll know. I also, as you can see here, it is symmetrical, as I mentioned, same both sides, but in this case, I didn't I didn't fold it real tight there. I wanted to kind of keep it a little rounded there, and this way it didn't pop back as much. And you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just my method of, in this case, instead of folding it really tight, I left it kind of rounded. And the triangle, though, I did leave it tight, and I folded it. Came back and I notched it in. So this is the castle. I folded the castle, and this is just step 1. If I had time, I would make this lots and lots of pieces. And then the door, actually, don't tell anybody, but I did tape on the door because I realized I didn't have one, and I was going to draw it separately, and I figured, you know what, let me just add one, and this way it solves the problem. Just don't tell anybody I use tape. Okay, there's that. Now, let's talk about quickly about how I made that texture. I'll use a square here for now, and you see it's just plain paper here. If I put that there, you'll probably be able to see it. And I just kind of guesstimated straight lines across. Bricks are not perfect shapes. Each one is unique. So basically just kind of eyeballing. You could use a ruler for this if you wanted to. I didn't, because I kind of wanted it to have that old castle-y feel. Now I'm just going to do a few lines there, and as you can see, it has those things there. So now what I would do is simply just draw in the brick pattern, and then every other one lines up. And as you go, you can see it. And I'm not doing the best job right now because I am doing this over a camera, but you get the idea of how things line up to make a brick pattern. Then of course I shaded it and did what I wanted to do, and there's my pattern, which I then folded, bent, twisted, and used in my sculpture. So I wanted to go over that one because I just like it. It's real pretty. And I didn't mention this in the last video, but I wanted to show you something because we mentioned triangle right there. I would like to show you a quick triangle sculpture just based on a triangle that you can make different ways. You can make equilateral, you can make them isosceles, right? Whatever you want to do. I want to keep this one as a nice flat triangle here. So I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces. 1, 2, and 3. Let me make sure on the video you can see what I'm looking at. Yes, you can. Now, I want to connect these together in a fun way. I'm going to fold it over. Same method we did before. We cut a notch there. I didn't have to draw it because I knew that you know at this point where everything was going. I'm going to take this one and remember to fold it the backwards way because it reverses. Remember, each fold goes the opposite than the fold before, and they fit together. I haven't done this particular sculpture yet exactly, so I'm not quite sure of the results so far there. And then I want to connect this last piece to the top. In this case, I'm going to bend it this way. In this case, I'm not going to fold it really tight. I'm just going to kind of bend it so it's not quite. Because in this case, I don't necessarily want it to be a tight fold. Do a little cut there, unfold it, and then connect it. Kind of like Legos, except you're inventing the pieces. And there we go. And now we got a really cool, interesting shape made from just a triangle. Now imagine this had designs on it. Imagine it wasn't just white paper or blue paper or whatever it was. Imagine you had designs. So I did one of these earlier. It was just simple rectangles, and that was it. But I treated them separately, and I used crayons to color this color palette, which I really enjoyed doing. I love using crayons. And then I joined them back up the way I wanted to. In this case, you know, I was very pleased with these colors working together, so I kind of wanted to show you that. And by no means is this the end-all be-all of ways to do things. You could do things your way, and you could connect them and go back and forth till you're pleased. But it's fun to color sometimes. You can see the back is just the plain paper. So you get to see that, how I added that, in this case, not so much a pattern as a texture or design to it after the fact. This one here, so I think I mentioned this in video 1, level 1. I just really liked making this pattern on one, and I just repeated that kind of concept. And then when I stacked them, I didn't necessarily care exactly where the lines went, but I did kind of in my mind visualize what I wanted it to look like, and I think I'm pretty pleased with that. And again, the biggest one's on bottom, smallest one's on top. That way it stands up. If I reversed it, it may stand up now. Of course it did, but typically you'd want to put the heaviest ones on bottom so it holds things up as they go up taller. And if I wanted to add another shape to that, I could. Let me set that to the side over here now. So we went over the triangle, ribs. I call these ribs because they're basically repeating patterns, the same thing over and over and over again. It can get longer. It almost looks like a spinal cord, more now that I'm thinking about it, more than ribs. And this particular one, I did an experiment on when it was all done. I just did a dab of glue, literally dab. And this is not about putting it together because I said you don't need glue. And as I put the glue on, it started to just like slump over, and the weight of the glue alone weighed probably more than the paper. So as it dried, it kind of got crooked, and I think that's the downside of using any sort of liquid glue on something this delicate. So it's a good example of why, in this case, yes, it stays together, but it doesn't look exactly the way I wanted it because the glue kind of shifted it. So if you do have a family member who wants to put these together at the end, like I said, and use hot glue, use glue, make sure they're doing it very carefully, and you have a place to set it where it won't get even blown over by a fan. But every one of these projects here is put together without any glue, even these. Oh, no glue, no glue. This is probably one of my favorites. I'm going to show you. It's a circle, and let me show you. It's real simple, actually. Took a circle, to a design, literally just doodle. You guys doodle. We all doodle. I folded it. I cut it in half, really tight. Folded it, notched it, and put it back together. And when it goes together, I'm really pleased with the design that it made. Oops, sorry, I want to go this way. When it comes together, it actually creates almost like an illusion, which, by the way, was not completely intentional. I'm very pleased with that there. And it kind of has a really cool, fun feel to it that fell apart, that I'm really happy with. And as long as the folds are tight, that's something to keep in mind. You got to keep your folds tight. Things will stand up. So you get that idea right there. It almost looks like a little butterfly or a bird. It's kind of cool. I like that. Set that to the side there. I created one here by complete accident. That was when I was making one of them, and it ended up looking like a person holding a book. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call it person holding a book. And all this is let's call it an oval, a square, and it kind of looked like a sun shape, like a rising behind the the horizon. And if I lay those down, you'll see how that's it. That's all I used. And then I took this. This becomes the book, which slides into the slots. I will put an example, a picture of this one up on the lesson for those who want to make this one. And I'll show you why this is something you'd want to make if, for no other reason than just doing something that's really community related. You can see that. And this guy's reading a book. He's even head tilted. He's into it so much that he's tilting his head. That's fun. I actually took this one here. Let me lay this one over here now, out of the way a bit. And I realized if I was looking at the, all the things on TV about thanking people out there, and I took the same concept and I said, we created like a sign holding up, thank you for all you do. And I thought that was a fun way to express that same idea. Instead of a book, it was a sign being held up. And in this case, the eyes are looking outwards at us versus this one that's looking down looking at us. So they give us two different feels. And then what's fun is I said, okay, let's say it's not a sign, it could be my favorite book. So actually, slipped it right in there. Boom. Whoop, sorry. And this person's now reading their favorite book. And that book's up to you, whatever your favorite book is. And actually, a little picture, little mountains. I had some fun doing that. But basic shapes. It's a head shape, sunrise shape. It could even be a triangle and a rectangle. And I just had fun doing that. And I know you guys can do that without question because you saw what I'm doing. Oh, and I made another book here I should show you. Acreage Pines 2019-2020 yearbook, A Year to Remember. It sure is. So this book could also go in the place of your favorite book. So I just put that one in there as another example for you to look at. Let's put this down here. The rainbow. This one here, I want to show you. This one's another fun one to do. It's only 3 shapes, basic shapes, and from what I show you here, there's no question in my mind you will know how to do this. The size that you draw your shapes does matter in this case. Like if I'm using really thin copy paper, I wouldn't have gone this big, but you can see here. That's the proportions. That means if you draw this, those are about the sizes you want, how they compare to each other. For the circle shape, let's move this out of the way, I used simply a bowl I have, and I just put it down, I traced it. I drew a straight line with a straight edge for the ruler, made up the cloud shape, and I just traced the top of my kitty litter lid. Perfect shape for a sun. And then I would color it, and then cut it out and put it together. And when it's done correctly, you can see you have a lot. It's pretty, it's colorful to look at, it's fun, and it's yours. And you can turn it into anything you want. You could write words on it. You could write, have a wonderful day, or whatever it is that you want to do. These are for you to turn into your own. And again, just because I'm showing you this way doesn't mean you can't turn it into a moon, or forgetting about the shape, you want to make a triangle. You might want to make 2 clouds. It's up to you. I'm just showing you the way I did it. So there we go. Another one I wanted to show you here is the circle butterfly. I did it already. Sorry about that. And then we had a student reach out to me and said she wanted to do some painting. And I know that many of you don't have paints at home because I don't even have a supply of paint that's that great. So, but I had this I grabbed from school. This is an old painting that I made as a demonstration a while ago. I happened to grab it. And I said, I want to turn this into a sculpture. So I cut it into 4 slits, literally 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 3 lines would make it 4. And then I put it back together with the same method that we just did, and it turned this painting into a sculpture. So you can see that you could take something flat and ordinary and turn it into something much more than what it was. And a sculpture is something you can look at from different directions, which this clearly you can do, which I love to look at. And simply, so if you were to draw a picture or something, you can make your own sculpture from it. It's kind of cool. But again, I should mention, if you are going to do that, make sure your paper is dry, because that will be a problem if it's wet and you try to fold it and score it and cut it. It's not going to work. It'll end up getting falling apart a bit. And the next one I want to show you is going into a new realm now. I'm moving aside all the papers that I had at home already, and I say to myself, what if I didn't have any material? What if I don't have paper? What if I didn't have any stuff like that? I can tell you, in my household, we're going through snacks like crazy, and we're getting mail like crazy. Of course, you want to clean your mail, but take like a Triscuit box. Think of this. What would you do with this? Well, let me show you things you can do. Now, I'm not going to break down exactly how I made each of these because they're very unique and to themselves. But this became this simple box. And I'll just show you real quickly how to look at a package in order to take it apart. So I'm going to open up this package real carefully, take the soap out, save that to the side so we can use it. And then what I did was I cut open my product till it was a flat shape. And again, you might need parent permission to do this because it is a heavier piece of material to work with. And I have this. From these pieces, these lines that are here, these natural lines, were perfect to cut out and follow. And then of course I added some little zigzags in there, but this and this are from each other. And there was very little waste actually at the end of this one. So if you look from the back, you can see the product. In the front, you see the actual design. So that's there. Now I'm gonna just quickly show you other ones I made from other products, so you understand that you don't need paper that you have from a copy machine or anything else. This was made from, let's see if you can guess, this came from a UPS envelope. No, not UPS, this is FedEx. And I was able to take the pieces apart and treated it like it was like a blank paper and just looked at the lines that came in the envelope, cut it apart and put it together. If I didn't like a piece, I switched it, took it away and started, tried another piece until I was pleased with that. You could also, if you wanted to, color the back. I didn't color the backs of any of these because I wanted to be able to see what it looked like beforehand. This was from a Ziploc little snack sandwich bag. You see that little sculpture? In fact, as I'm looking at this, it looks like a little bear holding a book. That's its head. I literally haven't thought about that. So it becomes a little story if you want to turn these into something else from a little snack box. And this one here is simply, and this one's a little delicate because it's very thin. Could you guess what this is from? And I didn't cut the shapes. These shapes were the natural shapes of the item. It was simply an envelope. I just followed the lines of the envelope and cut it apart and put it together using the same techniques. So an envelope can become a sculpture as well. Kind of looks like a rocket ship. It's kind of fun. So decorating these could be a blast. Speaking of decorating, I didn't show you these, and I'm not going to put them together now, but when you're making your designs for these, think outside the box. You can go as crazy as you want. You can connect this one to here in this order and put the slots in and do whatever you want. But I just want to show you, have fun with designs, whether they're even polka dots. Have fun with your stuff. If you like to paint your thing first, let it dry, then make your sculpture. If it's something you want, if you have crayons only, great. Crayons only. Where's my example of my crayons? Did I set that somewhere? I will find it as I'm sitting here talking to you eventually, because I know I did one with crayons, but can't seem to find it right now. I may have set that one and said, oh, it's right here. And I showed it to you in the last video. It was the little crayon. I just colored them and put them back together. And I really, really enjoy these color palettes together. Crayons are fun. They almost never wear out because you can even use them when they're little nubs. And I made that. That goes together. And the last product I'm going to show you, the last sculpture I'm going to show you, is a little crazy, and it was a little time consuming. And admittedly, I did use adhesive with this one because first it was heavy and I was under supervision, and I made sure of that. I took a Coca-Cola box and made this here. Now this is not an example I would expect you to make, but basically it's taking something that we normally see as one thing and turning it into another. So I basically sliced this, and I didn't really need the adhesive actually. Now, I'm just telling you that this way I could actually transport it and show others. If I wasn't going to move it around, I wouldn't have put anything on it. But I wanted you to be able to see this. And this is something you could actually put on your wall as a piece of wall art. So it's even, if you look through it that way, ooh, kind of like an illusion. So anything can be turned into art with the imaginations that you guys have. I think I went over everything. I'm going to put together the slide presentation that will have some links, including to these videos, and there'll be some image references for you to look at. And I hope you enjoy this. Please get parent permission when you're doing this stuff, especially cutting something like a box, as simple as it is. Oh, it's just a box. Make sure you have permission to. It is thicker. It is harder to cut through, and I want you to not get hurt. So it's always good to have someone there to make sure that you're doing it right. And I think that is it. Yeah, we did that. I'm very proud of you, by the way. I've been getting the artwork that you've been sending to me by email, via the classroom, and even some people have texted me things. I'm so proud of you. I can't imagine what you're going to do with this project. Have fun. Don't stress about it. Enjoy it. Some of these projects I started over again because I wasn't happy with it. That's what happens. So understand that you could do anything you put your mind to, but have patience with this one, because it's going to take a lot of patience to put together things that are so lightweight they almost want to fall apart. But that delicate element of this even makes it more beautiful because it is so delicate. and takes that patience. So use this opportunity to just explore, try things out, mix and match pieces, and send me a photo if you can, or hold it up to the computer carefully when I visit your class. So I miss you all again, and thank you for visiting, and hope you're having a healthy and safe time at home with your families during this hectic time. And I look forward to seeing you and having this whole thing. I was going to arrange this. Oh, does it balance? Nope. Yeah, it does. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys sooner than later. My best to you, and Mr. G, till next time. Take care. Bye-bye.